Have you ever thought to yourself, it's time for a raise? This is how you do it. Hey there. So, a lot of people have asked me this: how do you ask a raise from your boss? Now, this is such sometimes, especially in the Filipino culture, a little bit of an uncomfortable thing to ask, especially from your boss or from your manager. It's a little bit weird because it's a raise. How do you justify that? So I've lined out 3 steps that you can take, that you can start taking right now to be able to get to the point where you can ask for a raise. Now, the first step is to see if the company can actually afford it. So assess. So the first step is actually assess money. So assess the cash. Look at where your company is at and see if they can actually afford giving you a raise. You have to keep in mind that a raise isn't just a one-off thing. It's something that it's an expense moving forward. So moving forward, in the next 6 to 8 months, will the company keep growing? Will the company keep being strong, basically? Is there any deals that's coming into that company? Any other projects? Any new things that could keep, strengthen that monetary value of the company? Because if the answer to that first question is going to be no, then you're probably going to also get a no from your boss. Because again, it's an expense moving forward. It's not like a bonus where it's an one-off thing. That's why you have to assess, where the company is at, if it's in a good financial standing or not. Or if there's anything else coming up in the future where the company might be able to afford to give you a raise, because then you can plan out that schedule ahead. If you guys know that in December a new client's going to close for how many thousands of pesos, then you might want to plan asking for a raise then. Now, after you've done that, after you've done the assessment, there's going to be step 2, which is find out your value. Find out where else that you can insert, where else that you can help to actually maybe get that client that you guys are getting in December to make it faster, to make it more solid. It's basically assessing yourself this time. It's looking at yourself and seeing what else you can bring into the table so your boss or your manager can see that you have that value, that you're worth giving a raise to. You're not just someone who is going to ask for a raise and not really work. You want to be worth it. You want to be someone who is if I gave you 100,000 pesos right now, what will you be able to do with it? Will you be able to reinvest it with yourself or just spend it out? Or will you be able to grow yourself better so you can be a more even effective employee? So you have to kind of look again at your value. What other skills can you upgrade? Maybe what other skills can you add into your utility belt of skills? Find the different things that you can give to. What else can you give into the company? What else can you help them so they'll be able to afford the raise? That's why the first step is always, can they even afford your raise? So kind of look at that. And also, when you're assessing yourself, you're also looking at how much your value is. So a lot of people are asking, how much raise do I want to ask? And also, it is very equivalent to how much are you going to bring into the table. So if you've been working on, let's say you've been working on upping your sales skills, and you've done that yourself, you've trained yourself how to be more effective salesman, or you've done your practice at home and you actually close that sale, then you are bringing more into the table without asking so much from them. So that's another way to kind of see your value. And one way is just also to see how much you actually want to be able to earn. What would be a more than comfortable life for you? So what I've done with that for myself actually is my own dream is to have live and have an apartment in New York. That's my dream. So I've actually calculated like how much that would be for me, like how much monthly I would be. And it kind of went up to about $10,000 a month. So I divided it up, how many hours a month that I actually want to work, and that's kind of my own value. So look at those numbers, because that's another like additional thing in the equation when you actually eventually get to ask for the raise. Now, step 3 is make the bargain. Now that you've assessed where the company's at and you've already looked at your value, what you're bringing into the table, then you're actually going to ask for the bargain. Now, again, it's called a bargain because you have to give something before you can get something, right? That's always how you can think about it. You can't expect people to give you so much if you're not willing to give something for them. So The way you do that is, now that you've assessed, let's say, the example that I gave earlier, let's say by December, they're gonna get a really big client, and then your skill is actually, you're a really good project manager. You're someone who have trained in like different ways of how to manage people and how to manage clients. So that's something that you're bringing into the table. So you go to your boss and you say, hey boss, if I will be able to get this project closed and managed fast within the first 3 months of the year of next year, can I get for a raise? This much. Again, the value that you're asking for the raise has to be equal or even more than what you are trying to give to the table. So if you're someone who can be able to take over that project and you can able to actually do it, you can see yourself doing it, then that's the best bargain, And again, you can do with this in different ways. If you're, again, a salesman, then if you promise, if you close this really big client, can I get a raise or at least a bonus? So those are kind of the 3-step ways that you can do if you want to actually work towards getting a raise. Now, if the raise is actually already part of your, compensation or part of the system, then you don't maybe have not to do as much. But if you're someone who proactively, wants a raise, needs a raise, then those are the 3 steps. Again, they're going to be: 1, assess where the company's at financially, if they can afford it. 2 is look at your own strengths. So what are you bringing into the table? And then 3 is then you make a bargain. You combine what you learned in 1 and 2, and then make the bargain with them, whatever it is that you come up with. Keep in mind that most bosses, most entrepreneurs are going to be able to see value if you're willing to bring it to the table. So even maybe just you being more proactive, more just forward with it, they're already thinking of like, oh, this person needs a raise, this person needs a bonus. So just keep that in mind. Don't always think that your boss doesn't see what you're doing, because they probably are, and they're probably already working to try to see where else they can compensate you for. That was kind of it for this video. Again, I am Lian Lacaba, your virtual ate. Ate in Tagalog means older sister, so I'm hopefully here as your guide if you want to be either an online employee or you're starting your own online business. And if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for the next video, which I'll give you a shout out to, you can email me at lian@2xu.com. And make sure to like, subscribe, comment, whatever it is that you want to do on this video. Just let me know if you guys are liking this content or not. And I'll see you guys in the next video.